This is a CBS News special report. I'm Nate Burleson in New York with Major Garrett and Christine Johnson. Breaking news, the United States and Russia have agreed to a prisoner swap that will see the release of Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich and Marine veteran Paul Whelan. Gershkovich was recently sentenced to 16 years in prison on espionage charges. Gershkovich, the Journal, and the State Department consistently said the charges were false. The United States said Whelan was also wrongfully detained. Nancy Cordes is at the White House with what we are learning. Nancy, good morning.
Good morning, Nate. Well, this is indeed a major breakthrough long sought by the Biden administration with many stops and starts. We are told that these individuals are soon to be in U.S. custody, both Evan Gershkovich and Paul Whelan. Paul Whelan has been held in Russia since 2018. He has been behind bars for 5.5 years, a former Marine who, for a variety of reasons, was passed over during multiple prisoner swaps. Other individuals were brought home. Now he is finally coming home. We're told there's a third American who is coming back to the U.S. as well. Her name is Alsu Kurmasheva. She is a Russian-American radio journalist who was taken into custody in Russia last year. She was accused of spreading false information about the Russian army. But U.S. officials have always argued that she was doing exactly what Evan Gershkovich was doing in Russia, which was reporting the news, just as journalists have done there for decades.
Nancy, thank you very much. Joining us now on the phone is John Sullivan, a former U.S. ambassador to Moscow. Good morning, John. It's great to have you with us. Your perspective not only on the gravity of this deal, but its complexity.
Well, good morning. It's great to be with you. It's a great day for those individuals who are being released and their families. It's been a long time, as Nancy noted. It's been almost 6 years of incarceration for Paul Whelan, and not only for the detainees, but their families, who suffer as much as the detainees do during their incarceration. But this comes at a cost. The Russians aren't releasing these people for nothing. There are Russian criminals who are being traded for the release of these innocent Americans. So there's another side to this story as well.
And John, what should we, if anything, conclude about the timing of this? We are in the middle, as you well know, of a very heated presidential campaign. All developments like this carry a political echo effect. What do you think is on the mind of the Russian leader, Vladimir Putin, in this regard?
Well, I've thought about that. There are a number of different variables that can go into a release like this, having been involved in several of these transfers in the past. Certainly political calculations by the Kremlin, when to do it. There are other things we may not be aware of now. The health of a particular detainee, if that's deteriorating. So there are a lot of variables. Politics is certainly one of them.
Ambassador Christine Johnson here, talking to you from New York. Getting from the political now to the personal, talk us through how this exchange actually works.
So I've seen reporting from Russian media over the last several days that the American detainees have gone missing from their labor camps and prisons in Russia. And what that signaled to me was the Russians were moving them to Moscow, which is what's happened in the past. They moved them to a central location, the FSB. They're all put on a plane and then flown to the location that the Russians and we have agreed on for the exchange, which will occur as you see in spy movies, with 2 planes and a tarmac and the detainees walking between them.
John, thank you. Let's bring back in Nancy Cordes, who is standing by at the White House. Nancy, I want to ask you about President Biden and what do you believe his next move is going to be?
Well, typically in these situations, Nate, once the prisoner swap has taken place and the Americans are safely on their way to U.S. soil, then we will generally hear from the president himself. He will come out and make a statement and explain what has just transpired. Before then, it's generally radio silence. In fact, U.S. officials would probably, we rather not be talking about this at all. They would hope that no one would know about this until it happened. They certainly aren't going to say anything publicly because they always worry that there's something that they could say at the last minute that could jeopardize these very sensitive transfers.
Nancy Cordes and Ambassador Sullivan, thank you for standing by with this breaking news. Of course, our coverage will continue on CBS News 24/7, and there will be more tonight on CBS Evening News. Many of you will return now to CBS Mornings. This has been a CBS News Special Report. I'm Nate Burleson with Major Garrett, Christine Johnson here in New York.